What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video, and I've got some comic picks for you in the Star Wars CGC 9.8 grade that are all under $100. I picked 15 of them, and I've got some honorable mentions. We'll dig into that in a second, but one quick channel kind of friend note. Friend of the channel, he's been on the channel, he's got a great Facebook sales page called Rogue 5 Toys. Of course, I'm talking about Chris W. He has a giveaway going over on his YouTube channel, and I'll include a link in the description to this video to that giveaway. But it is a CAS Collector Archive Services 80 grade loose graded Boba Fett. So they're doing a giveaway. He wanted me to let everyone know that, so make sure to go check it out. Again, I will include a link to that video so you can check it out in the description to my video. Make sure to become a subscriber over there, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to mine as well. Back to the video topic for today. I did some research and I tried to find 15 CGC 9.8 comics that I think make sense to pick up if you're in the market for one and you have a tight budget. And I hesitate to recommend any book under $100 because it probably means they're super speculative. It also probably means that the vast majority of them are modern. They're recent comics. But I tried to span the gamut a little bit. And at the end of this, I've got some honorable mentions that are slightly above $100. And why I can, if you've got a slightly bigger budget than $100 for a graded CGC 9.8 Star Wars comic, going from $100 even to like $150 will open up some really good books that are much better books, in my opinion, than all the ones I'm going to show you. And I will caveat this video by saying that I own a number of these books in here. For whatever reason, I just picked them out. It would have been really boring to just do all modern books, okay? All recent pickups or recent releases. So I tried to pick a few others, but let's go ahead and start with maybe a little bit older book, and that is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace number 1/2. So this was a Dark Horse Wizard mail-away exclusive. And so this is kind of before the real Dark Horse run for the movie adaptation of The Phantom Menace came out. They had this promotional that you could get, and it was like an artwork style promotional. It's got Queen Amidala, Qui-Gon Jinn, a young Anakin, and then Obi-Wan on the cover. Now, why do I think this is a good pickup? This one sold for $100 free shipping. I think this is good because it does have a couple things going for it. Obviously, we know Obi-Wan's got his own series coming out, so I think that there's potential that they'll explore the young Anakin kind of dynamic with Obi-Wan, especially with Hayden Christensen coming back into the fold, as Darth Vader. It just seems like there probably is really good potential for flashback scenes there. This Wizards mail-away exclusive also has the first sketches of Darth Maul inside it. So the first cameo appearance is in issue number 1 for the movie adaptation, but this number 1/2 mail away has some early sketches for Darth Maul. So this is technically the first comic appearance in sketch format anyway of Darth Maul. And I really think that Darth Maul has potential to come back. It just seems like he's got a lot of there's a lot of rumblings, and you got like the Crimson Reign books and all that. I just feel like Darth Maul has potential to come back in some live action content. The next one is this one. This is Darth Vader number 1. And there are a number of different printings for this one. But if you can pick this one up for under $100, which this one sold December 24th for $96 with free shipping, that's a great deal for this book. This has the first appearance of Black Chrysantan, who is a Wookiee bounty hunter. There has been a number of rumor articles out there that we're going to see Black Chrysantan either in The Mandalorian or in the Book of Boba Fett, which comes out today, and I've heard is awesome. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'm going to watch it tonight. But I've heard the first episode is awesome. And there's rumors that we're going to see Black Chrysantan, the bounty hunter. He's really big in the Dr. Aphra comics, but his first appearance is in this one, the April 2015 Darth Vader number 1. So there's a number of different printings for this. So just be on the lookout for it. It's got a really great cover. There are some other cover variants, but this one will be the only chance I think you really have to get one under $100. So if you see that for under $100 or you can get it in an auction, I would go for it because that's a really good book. The next one is the one that came out the very next month, and that is Darth Vader number 2. which is this one here. And there were a number of covers, or excuse me, a number of printings for this book as well. And this is the first comic book mention of Dr. Aphra. So obviously her first appearance is in the very next issue, Darth Vader #3. But this book has her first mention. And this will be, Darth Vader #3 with Dr. Aphra's first appearance. That's a $300 or $400 comic, And so if you're trying to stay under budget, under this $100 kind of threshold, this is a good one to look at. This one sold for $90 plus $12 shipping, so about $100, let's call it. And again, it's the first mention of Dr. Aphra, and it kind of gives you some exposure to Dr. Aphra in the event that she finally makes it to the big screen. Another one I've talked about in the past, this is Kanan the Last Padawan #5. This is the second cameo of Sabine Wren, and she is going to be having a big role in the new Ahsoka series on Disney. I think anything Sabine Wren is going to be a must-have, and if you can't afford the first cameo, which is Kanan the Last Padawan #1, which goes for about $300, or Kanan the Last Padawan #6, which is the issue that comes after this one, that one goes for $600 to $800. Then I think your next best bet is this one. And this one sold for $76. This is a little bit older of an auction, but under $100 is very doable for this book. It's still a great cover, although it doesn't have Sabine Wren on the cover. It's, her second cameo, and it can only go up as she becomes more and more popular as the mainstream kind of audience learns more about her. Obviously, hardcore Star Wars fans know all about her from the Star Wars Rebels cartoon series, but for those that are sort of casual fans of Star Wars, she's about to have a much bigger audience once the Ahsoka series comes out. Another one I've talked about in the past, Kylo Ren #3. This is the second printing, though. The first printing is well above $100 now. It's really more like $150 plus. So a good option is this second printing, which is dated May of 2020. This is the first appearance of Avar Kriss in cameo. And this video is fairly heavy with High Republic, and I know the High Republic universe is not everyone's cup of tea. It's maybe a little bit too woke for some of you. But that being said, if we're talking about books that have potential from an investment perspective or from going up in value perspective, this is a good one to get. If you can't afford the first print, I would look at this second print. I don't have either print, but I do want to get one of these. But it's an okay cover. It's got Kylo Ren kind of fighting some other folks on the cover, other Jedi, probably during training. But that one sold for $81 plus $13 shipping. So it's another good option if you can't afford the first print. Another High Republic book, we're going to cover a number of them. This is High Republic Adventures #1, the 1 in 10 retailer variant. If you're going to get it, this is the one to get. This is the first cameo appearance of Marchion Ro, the villain, one of the main villains from the High Republic universe. That universe is very, very heavily being rumored to be the next big movie for Star Wars. So get them now while it's cheap. They're about $70 to $80 now. Very easy to pick up. And this book is sure to go up if Marchion Ro and the rest of the High Republic crew make it to a movie. If you want his first full comic book appearance, it's the very next book. This is High Republic Adventures #2. This also is the 1 in 10 retailer variant, as it says here, retailer incentive edition. I don't have this one yet, but $80 to $90 easily will get it for you. This one just sold on Christmas Day for $80.80 plus $15 shipping. So there's non-retailer incentive variants that are even cheaper, $50 to $60. But I think if I'm going to pick one of them, I would get the 1 in 10 ratio variants for issue #2, which you see here, and issue #1, which I do have. I have that one, but I don't have this one. Another High Republic Adventures book that I don't know if I've really talked about in the past, but I do recommend it, and that's the first appearance of Ty Boda, along with a number of other Jedi and kind of key characters within the High Republic universe. This book has been creeping up in value quite a bit. This is just the standard cover, but this one's selling for about $100 now. And there are some exclusive covers. There is a IDW SDCC convention exclusive. I've got 2 of those at CGC for grading right now. Hopefully they hit a 9.8 because those are $200 books now. There's also another kind of incentive cover that's available for this book. So this will be your cheapest option to stay under the $100 threshold. That is kind of the idea of the video. But there are some more expensive exclusive covers for High Republic Adventures #6. It's got 5 or 6 big first appearance characters in that comic. So I would look really closely at that one. I think this is my last High Republic, and then we'll get back to some other options. But another book that I definitely recommend you pick up while it's still really inexpensive, and that's The Monster of Temple Peak #1. This is kind of a short series by IDW Publishing. It's part of the Star Wars Adventures High Republic universe, but it's called The Monster of Temple Peak. Issue #1. It's the first comic book appearance of Ty York, the monster hunter, monster slayer, gun for hire, mercenary. I think she has a big future, a really big future within the High Republic universe. She's an awesome character. She's kind of like the Dr. Aphra / Han Solo of the High Republic universe. So I would really recommend picking this book up. I'm pounding the table. I think I've got 5 or 6 of these at CGC for grading, and I do not plan on selling any of them. However many of them hit 9.8 grade, I'm not selling any of them, because I think this book will be double or triple in a couple of years as more and more people learn about this character. She's an awesome character in the novels. Okay, I think we're done with High Republic, I think. But let's look at a few others. This is one that I haven't picked up yet, but I recommend. This is Darth Vader #6. I've got the first printing of Darth Vader #6, but the second printing is where the money's at, I think. This is the first cameo appearance of Ochi, the Sith Assassin, Ochi of Bestoon, the Sith Assassin. I think there's a good chance we see Ochi within the live-action series very soon. His kind of, the period of when he was alive, obviously he was dead in The Rise of Skywalker. They found him in that sand pit. But the period when he was alive really kind of coincides nicely with the Book of Boba Fett as well as the Mandalorian. So I think there's a good chance we see him. Or in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which makes the most sense since he's a Sith assassin. He's a perfect fit for Obi-Wan. But one of those 3 series, I could really see him showing up. And this one has him on the cover. I think this is his first cover appearance. The second print of Darth Vader #6. It's still really cheap. $50, 50 or $60 will get it for you. There is a first printing, which I have, but it doesn't have him on the cover. So I would get this one if I were you. They're both about the same price. Another one is this one. This is Star Wars Adventures #7. And this is the first comic book appearance as well as cover appearance for the Crimson Corsair. We saw him in Maz Kanata's castle in The Force Awakens. He's got that very distinctive red helmet. And he's like a bounty hunter, or, you know, one of these kind of weird aliens that is always in kind of the background. And he was going to give, I think, a free passage or safe passage to Finn when he was thinking about leaving the Rebel Alliance. So $50 to $60 gets this one, and there's a good chance I think we could see this character in a small role at some point in the future in live action. He's kind of a distinctive look and adds kind of a cool alien element to any show. But I don't think he'll be a big character, but it's worth picking up, I think, for $50 to $60 for a 9.8 grade. Another book I've talked about in the past. I don't have this one yet, but I definitely want to get it. I don't know why I'm waiting so long, because it's so cheap right now. It's $55 to $60. $65 will get you this one. This is Star Wars Bounty Hunters #14. This is the first comic book appearance of the bounty hunter Deathstick, and that's her on the cover in the purple there. She's fighting Bylert Valance. So very cool character, and she's also making another appearance in the new Crimson Reign comic book series. And what's interesting about this book is that, as I've talked about in past videos, this is the first Marvel continuity mention of Bo-Katan. So it's got a lot going for it. It could take the same route as Mace Windu #5, which is the first appearance of Ahsoka within Marvel continuity. That book has gone up to $200 plus now. So this one is still $55 to $60, and we're talking about first Marvel continuity for Bo-Katan, which she's only going to get more and more hot, I think, especially if she comes back in the next season of The Mandalorian. So I would pick this up while it's cheap. I haven't done it myself yet, but that's one I want to get. Another book I've mentioned and I have picked up, and I have 2 or 3 copies at CGC right now. Hopefully one of them hits a 9.8, or I'm absolutely going to buy one of these. This is Dr. Aphra #11. $60 to $70. We'll pick that one up. This is the first reappearance of the bounty hunter Dirge within Marvel continuity, and he's also on the cover of this book. So Dr. Aphra #10 is his first cameo appearance within Marvel continuity. Dr. Aphra 11 is his first full appearance. So this is the one to get, in my opinion, but both Dr. Aphra number 10 or number 11 are worth getting, depending on your budget. They're both about 50 to 60 bucks, but this is the better issue, obviously, since he is on the cover. There's a good chance I think Dirge at some point shows up again. Another one that I don't know if I've really talked about it that much, but Star Wars 4-LOM and Zuckuss number 1. This is kind of a one-off as part of the War of the Bounty Hunters. But what this details is, this is the origin story of how 4-LOM and Zuckuss became partners. So it's not really a first comic book appearance, but it's kind of a key issue since these two characters have been intertwined with one another back since, you know, the vintage Kenner days when they mixed up the names on the nameplates for the action figure. So this book is kind of how they kind of came to be a team or bounty hunters as a team, and it's kind of the origin story for that team up. So probably of all the books on this video, this is probably the lowest on the rung in terms of key issue, but I thought it was worth pointing out since it's so cheap. 50 to 60 bucks can get you that one. Another one that's going to be at the very, very upper end of the range, and my gut says that this was a steal, but I could be wrong. But that's Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple number 1. This is the first appearance of the Seventh Sister, I believe is her name, as part of the Inquisitorius. We've already know that we've seen some some art from the making of the Obi-Wan series that it appears to be the Seventh Sister in a lot of those drawings, artist concept renderings. Her first comic appearance is in this book, Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple. It's the tie-in to the video game. This one sold for $100. It was plus $20 shipping, but my gut says that this price was too cheap because there's not many of these on the census. There's just a very few 9.8s out there, so I would be on the lookout for that one. All right, now it's time for some honorable mentions. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there are some books that if you could just increase your budget just a little bit from over $100 to maybe $100 to $150, that opens up some really, really nice books that I think make more sense. For the incremental amount you got to spend, you're getting much better books for it. One of them is this one, Star Wars number 92. This is from the original run, February of 1985. It's an epic cover. It's not particularly a key issue other than it's the first Jan Duursema Star Wars art. And that's a fairly big name within the comic book community, comic book world. And to have Jan Duursema's first comic art within the Star Wars universe on such an epic painted cover with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker there, that one sold for $109 plus $16 shipping. That is a much better investment from my perspective than any of the other books I've looked at. I could be proven wrong there because it's not a key issue. It's not like a first appearance issue. This is really just having a piece of collecting history that, it's a vintage book that has Jan Duursema's first Star Wars art. So that to me is an important kind of historical milestone book to have, and to get it at that cheap of a price, it's worth looking at. In terms of speculative picks that I think also makes it, this is one that just sold here on the 24th. I was so tempted to make a bid on this because it's such an awesome book. This was a special number 1, Cassian and K2SO, kind of a one-off book. And you can see it's got Cassian Andor and K2SO on the cover. It sold for $117.50 plus $15 shipping. That is a great deal for kind of a one-off book that ties in really nicely to the coming Cassian Andor Disney Plus live action show. This can only go up in value if that show is successful and is good. And it's a great cover. It really captures the Rogue One vibe. It's not as expensive as the Rogue One adaptation issue number 1, which can be $150 to $200 easily. So for a little bit less, you can pick this one up, and it's a great cover. Harkening back to the very first comic that was on our list, which was the Phantom Menace Wizard Mail-Away. If you spend just a little bit more, you can get Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace number 1 from the movie adaptation, the Dark Horse Comics from 1999. This is the first cameo appearance of Darth Maul. And I really think that Darth Maul has potential to come back in some form or fashion on Disney Plus content. There's already heavy rumors that Kira from the Solo movie is going to be showing up in the Book of Boba Fett, given that the Crimson Reign books have really taken off. And Darth Maul would be a natural fit since he is kind of the unofficial leader of the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate. This one sold for $130 plus $15 shipping. That's a great buy in my opinion. The other one that I have not talked about, but I really am serious about getting this one. This is Star Wars Mace Windu #1, and this one sold for $144. And what's special about this book is that this is the first comic appearance of the individual, and I apologize, I don't remember his name, but he eventually becomes the 10th brother, which is one of the members of the Inquisitorius that we know is going to be in the Obi-Wan series. So the person that becomes the 10th brother, his first comic book appearance is in Mace Windu #1. And this is also kind of the beginning of Mace Windu's origin story. So I really think that this book, given that, you know, 125 to 175, depending on the cover variant for Mace Windu #1, it makes a lot of sense to pick that book up, because if the Inquisitorius have as large of a role as I expect they will within the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show, anything Inquisitorius is going to jump like crazy, and it's worth a look. So that's all I really had. If you're new to the channel, I cover action figures, I cover comics. I would welcome a subscription. Please leave a like if you liked the video. Please comment below with any other picks that you have that are under $100 that you think are worth picking up, that are graded CGC 9.8 within the Star Wars universe. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.